Were you making any money from music?
No, zero. It was like negative because I'm investing, I'm getting nothing back.
Yeah.
In terms of like profitability wise, how profitable is it in the early stages?
You tried e-commerce before any of that with a mentor and it didn't work.
No idea and no really plan of where to actually go. What's the next 5 years going to look like? But I looked at everyone who was hating. I'm like, you go to the same place, you drink the same drink every weekend, are in the same clothes, hanging with the same people. Your opinion doesn't really matter.
To have that mindset though, when you haven't made any money from it, like that's wild.
Setting can be really lonely. It is one of those things,
100%.
like you'll be banging your head against the wall. It's like, hello? It's lonely out there. The definition of intelligence is the person who got what they want.
Alrighty, Zen,
bro.
we're live.
How are you, man?
Good, man. We're here in Bali.
Yeah.
We just wrapped up with Jax, your younger brother, and yeah, just wanted to talk about basically your whole story, bro.
Cool.
Like before sales, in school, what you were like growing up, how you got into it, how you found that. But take me back, like when you're a kid,
Yep.
you're growing up, maybe you're in primary school, early high school. Like who was Zen Heaton?
Yeah, it's a good question. So like growing up, always energetic, always that kid that, a little bit cheeky, but still a good boy. Most of the teachers liked me. There's a few things like, Zen, he's got autism, or Zen's too much, he's got ADD, all of that stuff do you hear because you so much energy. So it was like, where can I actually channel that energy from a long age? So there was like many different things, but definitely at school, couldn't really focus. Because, I just want to distract someone. It's like, Zen, stop looking over there. Zen, stop distracting this person. All I want to do is talk. I don't want to be in school, sit there, standing straight, learning this, getting told this information. I would just rebel. And then I'd be naughty, and then you get put in the naughty corner. And then, gradually through like a high school, then you get suspended, you get in trouble. But all for like really, really boring reasons. In terms of never anything bad. It was more like the teacher took my chair. And I said, how the fuck am I supposed to fucking learn when you take my fucking chair? And she goes, did you just swear? And I'm like, yeah, you took my chair. But like shit like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of born back at school.
And then, was it the same in high school? Like what sort of grades were you getting in high school?
So probably towards, I'd say like that, like grade 9 to maybe grade 11. Like solid, just C's.
Okay.
C's. There was a couple of E's in there between you and me.
Yeah.
Like maths, a couple of E's.
Yeah.
But pretty well across the board. A few C's, and obviously in sport, getting like that B, the B plus there. But it was more towards like coming into grade 12, where I was like, what am I going to do? I don't really have any skills. Like I was kind of dabbling in a bit of music. I was a little bit of like content, filming a few videos, but no idea and no really plan of where to actually go. Like what's the next 5 years going to look like? And, at school, people are like, okay, I'm going to uni, I've got my next years mapped out. And then you've got the other side of people like, you don't need to know what you need to do. It's all good. Just go with the flow, take the gap year. So I was like, what do I do? And then it was like, okay, spoke to mum and we were like, okay, let's go to uni. Okay, what are we going to go to uni for? And then going through everything, I'm like, hey, what's the most applicable to music? And the most applicable at that stage was music production. So pretty much knuckled down. Grade 12 started getting, high C's, quite a few B's. And I was like, okay, cool. Got into uni for music production. And I was like, mum's like, you got to uni, you made it, in the normie, the 9 to 5s, you made it. We got to uni. It's like a huge milestone for most people in their life. And all my family were like, oh my God, you got to uni. And I'm like, it wasn't that hard. Like it was not that hard. And even if I had got C's, D's or E's, I could have still got in by doing a bridging course. So I was like, it wasn't that big of an accomplishment. And then, we got there and it was like learning music production. And I was like, I need help. And they were like, just keep trying. And I'm like, no. I need help. I've never learned this before. Like, can you give me resources so I can learn? And the response was just keep trying. To the point where it's like, I get that, but like I actually don't know how to do it. I'm reaching out for help. Ended up getting like a tutor. The tutor just did it all for me, which it's good you get the grades, but I didn't learn.
Yeah.
So I was like, guys, like, can you help me? I'm like reaching my hand out. And then it got to the point where I was just like, if you're not going to help me, then like, how am I actually going to grow and I'm actually going to learn this skill? So I got to the point where I had my computer. I was like the end of one of the semesters. I just threw the computer out. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. So there probably is still a little HECS debt somewhere owed
Yeah.
on one account in one company. So we'll deal with that when it comes up. But it just to that point, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
So how long into your degree was that?
It was only short, maybe like 6 months.
Okay.
So it wasn't long.
And then did you have any idea about like making money online or business or
No.
anything, or was it just focused on the music?
This was still far away from making money online. This
Okay.
was more going down the pathway of music. So like the focus was like, okay, let's make it in rap. That was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's it. Nothing else matters. And pretty much like cut everyone off. So I cut all of my friends off from school, 'cause, most of them still going out, drinking. I was like, I stopped drinking, stopped doing drugs, started hitting the gym really hard, like minimum 1 a day, really dialed in with like the health and nutrition. And it was literally just lock myself in a room and just write. It was like minimum 5 verses a day. It was just locked in.
How old were you?
This was 2021. So end of 2020, we finished school. So 2021, which would have been,
19?
yeah, just hitting 19.
Yeah.
So I was just dialed in, like nothing else matters. And then ended up building like a vocal booth. So I'm just like laying in there, recording songs. And I'm like, it's going to work. And I'm posting on TikTok, posting on Instagram. I'm like, this is going to work. And then got to the point where I'm like, what's going on? Like, why can't I make as much money? And then it's like, started asking myself questions. I'm like, in terms of like profitability wise, how profitable is it in the early stages? And then I start doing research. I start, meeting a few other guys, start asking a few more questions. I'm like, is this actually that profitable? And by that time I wasn't working. Like I was doing Kmart before.
Yeah.
Back at school, I had left Kmart, and there was the opportunity. My dad had a landscaping business, so there was the opportunity to obviously work with him. But I didn't want to work. You get burnt, working 12-hour days. Making $400 a day, which is okay. But I'm like, I'm tired, and then I don't do the verses, I don't do the content. So I was like, I don't want to do that, but it's the only way to make money right now. I have no skills. I'm like useless in this space. So it got to the point where I'm like, okay, so working landscaping with dad, while still pushing the content, still pushing the music.
Were you making any money from music?
No, zero.
Oh, really?
Zero. It was like negative because I'm investing, I'm getting nothing back.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend at the time, beautiful girl, and she was helping with the content as well. So, sitting there, she's filming videos. Hey, do a freestyle for me, film the video. So that was good. But then it got to the point I'm like there's got to be a better way. And then, Jax, he went down his own little rabbit holes. Like since he was like, 13 and 14, doing little hustles. And then I always see that as well. I'm like, And he's, and all the time I see him, he's watching YouTube. Like eating food, watching YouTube. I'm like, fuck, you watching? I didn't get it. It was so naive. I'm like, what are you watching on YouTube? He's like, I don't know. This guy's talking about how to make money. I'm like, I'm not worried about that. My main focus was music. And then I'm just constantly just hearing things in the background. You're hearing drop shipping. Because that was where it was like really big at that stage. 2021 was big on drop shipping. Hear drop shipping. Like, fuck is drop shipping? So then you slowly start, okay, what's drop shipping? You slowly start learning stuff about e-commerce. And then, gradually through that phase, probably coming into like 2022, broke up with the girlfriend because I was like, this is not aligning anymore in terms of what I want in my future. I want multiple women,
We'll get to that.
Yeah, and like where I am going, I feel like you're pulling me down because it's like, hey, can you spend time with me? And it's like, no, I've got to go to the gym and I've got to do my music. That's all that matters. So I was pretty much like next level dialed in, but I was also pretty lonely as well. And because Jax and our relationship was almost deteriorated from young, because I was a bit of a mean older brother, in terms of like having that I guess that ego, I'm the older brother.
Right.
So there's a bit of a relationship deterioration there as well. So it's like, I'm fucking lonely. I'm a little bit miserable just chasing this thing by myself.
That's interesting because when I was talking to Jax, he was like, we were talking about how big of a factor you were in being the older brother and like helping and calling him out sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned when he was overweight, you're like, I love you, you're fat. like things like that,
Straight
right?
up.
So it's interesting to hear that you felt that way. I was the same way because I'm the oldest as well. But he was the one learning about all the online
He was the
money-making
first
stuff.
one, yeah. So he was the first one learning all the online stuff. And then, it's kind of going through that music phase. And then probably towards like 2023, started getting like a little bit more traction in terms of, meeting more of these other artists. Because the whole mindset that I was in for a stage was just like, I can just do this from my room. I can just film videos, record music, release it, and I'm going to blow up. That was like the mindset. it's not the case. You need to meet people. And I didn't realize that until I started networking, meeting these other artists, meeting these other rappers.
And this was in the Gold Coast?
This was in the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
This was 2023. And then I dropped, I stopped doing dropping songs for a little bit. I kind of just went behind the scenes. And then I dropped the song Gold Coast. And it performed really well because it was from the Gold Coast, a guy from the Gold Coast, relatable song, and actually performed really well. And got a little bit of traction from that. And then from that traction, kind of just continued that momentum through 2023. Started doing quite a few shows, did like my first proper show. The feeling, anyone that performs, anyone that's on stage, the feeling when you step on stage, it's like shit. But that feeling when you step off and people are clapping and people are filming and you're like, what? That was me. I made that impact. And that kind of was like, okay, this is like this. Let's drive this. So coming into towards the end of 2023, and then it was still like, I want to make money. I still doing a little bit of landscaping, but it's like, I want to make money.
When you just take a step back, when you first got into music, did you have to get over anyone's judgment, or you just didn't give a fuck from the start?
Well, I already dealt with that judgment. I dealt with that judgment because back at school, so 2020 in grade 12, towards probably like the back end of the year, maybe the last 6 months, I had started doing a couple of songs and I'm putting them on Instagram as well. So I'd started doing a couple of pieces of content. So I already dealt with the hate. I already dealt with that hate to the point where I was just like, but I looked at everyone who was hating. I'm like, you go to the same place, you go to this, drink the same drink every weekend, wearing the same clothes, hanging with the same people. Your opinion doesn't really matter. So it was kind of like that from an early age. And then naturally the hate just continues, but over a long enough period of time, it just becomes like, oh, this guy's just doing it. Like the hate doesn't really work.
So you had that from the start. That's
cool.
cool.
So it didn't really hit. It was like, fuck about you.
Yeah.
Your opinion doesn't really matter to me.
How many shows did you do? Like on
in
stage?
2023, not a lot, maybe like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Maybe a few more. There was starting to become like a lot more frequently.
Yeah.
But then I started weighing up, and this is where like my mindset was like, hang on. So if I'm going to Brisbane, so the show's in Brisbane, I'm taking 2 hours to get there, an hour there, an hour back. That's excluding getting ready time. And plus I'm only performing for 15 minutes. I was like, that's not worth my time. Knowing that I can post one video and I can reach more people and I could potentially get more opportunities. The only thing is when you're at the shows, you obviously meet more people. The in-person networking is going to be a higher degree, more rapport there. But my mindset was like, fuck these shows. I'm traveling 2 hours to perform for 15 minutes. That doesn't make sense from a business perspective. So then it got to the point I'm not doing shows anymore, especially all these fluffy shows. Because I remember there was one show I went to and I performed in front of like 4 people. And like, no matter like what category or what tier you are in at any performance level, you're like, am I shit? Yeah. Is this me? Is it me? And you look around and there's like 4, like, fuck. And
did you still perform as if there were like
the
100
exact same
people?
if there's 4 people, 40 people, or 4,000 people. But the thing is, it's from that day. I think it was like that was in 2024 when that happened. But from that, I was like, I'm done with shows. I'm not doing any more until someone comes to me and said, hey, got an opportunity for you. There's going to be a minimum of this many people, and or I'm not coming. So that was kind of like the rule that I implemented, and I still have that rule now. I'm like, I'm not doing these fluffy shows anymore because it's just not worth my time. I'd prefer to stay home and sleep.
Yeah. And then how did that lead into sales?
Okay, so coming in about, I believe it was, and then so 2023, I learning more about online space, and I invested into a drop shipping store. I won't drop his name because
So was this before Jax started looking into the online money space?
Yeah, so like he was gradually looking and watching YouTube. So I don't think he was like actively like looking. It was more just like hearing things.
Yeah.
Because he's on YouTube as well. So you think you watch one thing on YouTube, you're getting pushed this business model. So and then he'd start talking about a few things. Say 2023, I think it was around March, I invested into like buying an e-commerce store. It was like 10K. So it wasn't like a huge investment. I did some okay money there, but invested into it. It's like, fuck yeah, like we want to be fucking rich for the starting your e-commerce with a business partner. Things were going really well, and then I like paused it because I'm like, okay, I want to create this more of a brand. I got like a few fighters on board. Started giving out a bunch of knee sleeves. Had people on board. Shot the content. It looked really good. Turned the ads back on. Started getting a few sales, but in terms of what the product actually solved, it wasn't a big problem. It was like knee sleeves for like circulation. which is not a big
This is
problem.
like the physio ones? Like
yeah,
knee
a
sleeves,
semi to
like-
that. It was like you could get a pump, and it's also for recovery as well.
Right, okay.
So, pick Chinese product, from China. We ordered a bunch of units as well to start passing out, and then the team who we invested into stopped replying.
So they were meant to run it for you?
Well, they built the website,
Okay.
and they were going to be there as like guidance, coaching, and support. What wasn't like the smartest investment in terms of like the due diligence, the due diligence, and then of course the contract. So many different variables that you just miss out on. You just don't know. It's like, oh yeah, cool, we'll just drop 10K.
Was that the first online like investment?
It was
you
the
made
first
into yourself?
investment.
Yeah, right.
So there's like 10K, and then bro, failed.
Yeah.
Like miserably failed. Lost 10K.
How long did you give it?
Bro, gave it like a solid 3 to 4 months of just like consistent. But then we're just burning money on ads.
Yeah.
No one's buying. So I had that, and then in that same year, in 2023, I had invested into building out, or to doing one of the songs and putting promotion on it. I had done the promotion incorrectly by promoting on Meta ads. I had promoted the pre-save link. So this is before the song comes out. It's like, click this link to pre-save now, add your email, and when the song comes out, hey, song's out by
Right.
Zen. I put like 7.5K into investing into to getting this video to the next level.
Damn.
And it flopped as well. So 10K, 7.5K, but there was a time like in 2020, I'm sitting there, I pretty much just lost 20K.
And this was all from your savings?
It was all from my savings,
From working with your dad in the
Yeah.
landscaping business?
So I was like, I've just lost 20K. So you imagine that feeling. You're like, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna kill myself. Fuck this. like to the extreme. I'm like, fuck this, bro. Just miserable. But then it's like, oh, you just have to have the mindset as like, it's only 20K. As much as to a lot of people, it's really hard to hear. Like depending where you are, coming on like the earning capacity and the income that you're bringing. But it's like, it's only 20K. It's not the end of the world.
To have that mindset though, when you haven't made any money from it,
I know.
like that's wild.
So that was the only mentality you could have.
Yeah.
But I'd tell you, it was a shit feeling. It was like 2 losses back to back, 2 losses with no ROI, and I was just like,
Yeah.
so like naturally, like the next investment is going to be something that's important, and I'm going to do my research on it.
Yeah.
So that was so that the August 2023,
2023.
September 2023, where I was like, fuck, man, that was shit. And then coming into the following year, 2024, naturally similar kind of things, few shows, bit of content, bit of music, actually getting a little bit of growth and traction with the music, because I had propelled that continued from June to 2023 when I released Gold Coast. I was releasing like 1 to 2 songs a month. So I was starting to get quite a few tractions. Followers were increasing. And then it was like around towards the end of April. Still ideas of like how to make money online, e-commerce. I'm still thinking I failed at drop shipping. There's still got to be a way. There's still a way.
Just a quick pause. Like how did you not get discouraged to the point where you just gave up on the online money making space?
I was a little bit discouraged, but because I had such a strong mindset, and the mindset had actually come from back in 2020 when pretty much it felt like no one believed in me. So
What gave you that feeling in 2020?
good question. It felt like when I was posting the content and the friends, like few of them like hating, and I was like, felt like no one cared, no one was supporting. Even like when I'd done singing for a little bit, it was fucking horrible. But to the point where I'm like, I feel like no one supports me. Even my family, I think no one gets me, no one supports me, no one cares. I was like the only person that I feel like cares is Jax. To that level, because I'd go to him, hey bro, check this song out, and I'd sing to it, and he'd be like, bro, it sounds good, but like, it was horrible. But even sometimes, oh yeah, bro, like sounds okay, but like I'd say work on this, and then I'd show him the songs, and then I'd airdrop him the songs, and he'd be listening to the songs, and I'm like, fuck my only supporter at that felt like my brother. So it was like a different level of love, and every time I'd create a new song, before I'd left the studio, I'd send it to him. I'm like, hey bro, just new song. Or like I'd do 5 in a day. Hey bro, 5 new songs. Here you go.
That's sick. How important has Jax been for you?
Very important, and that's what was going to take me into the next thing. So that's where it came into May. So we went to Bali and Thailand for a couple of time with the bro. It was good. Like it was like the first trip of us traveling by ourselves, without the family.
That was recently though, right?
That was
This was
Bali.
before
This was
sales?
2024.
Okay.
Yes, this was last year. So this was like we went to Bali, went to Gili T, we stayed in Sanua, and and then we went over to Phuket as well. So training together, you know, a couple joints here and there,
Yeah.
just time with the bro. And then it was like we came home, I was like, fuck, this is cool. Like, and then he goes, hey, Revit, we got to make money online. And he kept saying it, we've got to make money online. I'm like, fuck, yeah, we got to make money online. What can we do? And then he said, what about sales? And he goes, sales is the best skill. I'm like, huh. Because I already had read quite a few books as well, you know, the mental masturbation, the self-development books
Yeah.
as well. I'm, you know, all excited.
What were you reading? What were some of
I
the
think like
books?
one of the first books, like coming into the Laws of Power, and then I think Tyson, one of my boys, Tyson, recommended the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. So starting to
Oh,
read
yeah.
those type of books, you know, and then all the common books, you know, Atomic Habits, all those fluffy books that, you know, most people get pushed
Yeah.
into. But yeah, it's coming into like May. Jack's like, let's make money online. I'm like, what about sales? So like, we've got sales. I'm doing a little bit of research, learning about it. And then he's like, I found someone. Who have you found? I found Connor Healy. And because we had invested into Jack Hopkins 10K Accelerator,
Oh, yeah, true.
because Connor Healy is the coach in there.
Mm.
So we had invested in there and we're like, okay, the sales stuff in here is pretty basic, but the who takes the coaching calls was Connor Healy. I think Jack's how he found him.
Mm.
And then I was like, well, I found something. I found a sales course that teaches you how to land offers. And I'm like, so what's an offer? So like clueless, bro.
Brand
no
zero.
idea.
Yeah.
And then it was like get two brothers in at a discounted rate. It's like, fuck yeah, cool. So we invested it, I believe.
Both did it together.
We
Yeah.
invested in together. I won't drop the price because I think it's
Yeah,
changed
yeah,
now.
that's fair.
But we invested together. We started getting the role, and then, you know, looking in, okay, like how can we land an offer? Doing all of that research. But at that time, as I had came back from Thailand, I got sent. My mum sent me a Facebook ad, and it was like apply for Survivor, the TV show.
Oh, shit. Hang on. So this is 2024.
This is 2024.
What
last
month
year.
was this?
So in terms of when we came back from, it was like April 24th was around about there. We had come back from Thailand.
And that's
Bali
when
travel.
your mum sent you the ad.
That's when she sent me the ad. So I got the ad, and then instantly in my mind I was like, "Fuck this! This could be on." As soon as I saw it, I was like, "I'm going to be on." I said to her, "I'm going to be on." There was no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't get it. And then I filmed my intro video, and it was like, "All right, hey, my name is Zen. I'm from the Gold Coast, hip hop artist, blah blah blah." And then
Did
it
you just
was,
film it like standing up? Like
yeah, I filmed it standing up, like out in the sun. It was like
Okay.
shirtless. But then I said, actually, hang on a second. But I did it near my ice bath. So I'm explaining, I'm like, hey, my name's Zen. I'm a hip hop artist from the Gold Coast, Australia. And then actually, wait, one sec. Bro, I jumped in the ice bath, and it was a 4-degree ice bath. I made it cold. And I made sure that I had done it like 2 days before, and I made sure the ice had frozen. I had broken the ice. I had done it again. I had broken the ice again. So like you jump in, it's just big logs of ice. And then I was like, hang on one sec. Jumped in the ice bath, and I'm like, now, what other contender is going to jump in a 4-degree ice bath? None of them. And that's why I'm going to be the sole survivor. And that's why I'm going to be bang, 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 bang. And then I sent it off, the submission, and 2 days later I got an email, hey Zen, got your video, XYZ, book a call with us.
Sick.
Booked the call, and her name was Sophie, and she said, Zen, you know, went through the whole process, a little bit about my story. And she's like, well, why do you think you're going to be on Survivor? And I said, well, Sophie, how many times have you smiled on a Zoom call today? She smiled like 10 times through the whole process. I said, how many times have you smiled over 10 times on a Zoom call today? And she was like, smiling. And I said, that's why I'm going to be on. And it was like, then you're like, okay, we'll hear back from you soon. And then like, I think about maybe like a week later or so. And then I got another email, which was like, hey Zen, you've progressed to the next stage. Now it's meeting them in person. So this was like going to the interview in person. So I was like, this is like, oh, we're on. And at this stage, we had invested into Connor Healy's course. So I had started that process of like learning all the framework. But then I was like, hang on, I want to be on TV. It doesn't make sense to learn sales right now, get an offer, and then say, hey guys, I'm going to be away for 3 months. Not committed. So I was like, okay,
interesting.
pause sales. Sales can be there when I'm back.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, we went and did the interview, crushed it. Like I had prepared. I'd woken up at like 4 a.m. that day, and I made sure I did my gym session, push-ups, watching Alex Hormozi, ice bath, like just like,
G'd up.
like 2 or 3 like cups of like coffee, but with dirty chai. So I was fucking buzzing. Drove to Brisbane, smashed the interview, and then I was dropping game on them because at that stage I was like really strong on like the reading and like learning certain words per day, and I was just fucking dropping sauce.
What, like big words? or
Just
something?
dropping what I think they played it on the clip. I don't even know what word it was, but it was like I think I said perspicacious and I got like a few other words. I used that in the clip, and I was like, And then, you leave, you're like, I gave it all out, but like a little bit, like you get that feeling. It's like, oh, what's next? But I just like blocked everything else I'm going to be on. And I made sure in terms of like what my next months look like leading up to be on that show were free. And that's what I made sure, because like people say about manifestation as well, is like, don't get me wrong, manifestation with the work is imperative. But you also need to make sure is if you are manifesting something, that what you're manifesting in that time frame, you are available for. Because if you're not available, you're not going to get that blessing from God to have that opportunity, because there's something in front of that, if that makes sense. It's like an event in front of that. So I made sure everything was free. And then got that call, and it was like, hey Zen, just want to let you know you're going to be on Australian Survivor. And you fucking buzzing. And I, like on the phone, I was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, sorry. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, yeah, sounds good. I got off and I was just like, gave mum a hug and I said, I told you. She was like, and then from that point, in her mind, now anything that I say to her, she's like, yeah, cool, you've done it.
She trusted you from that point.
So then fast forward, made it into Survivor, worked out supposedly about 10,000 people applied and 24 people got on. So it was like a 0.0024% chance of actually getting on the show. So I was fucking gassed.
Yeah.
I looked fresh, went through all the outfits, and we get on the show, start playing the game, a little fun, and then we were in one of the challenges. I'm fucking amped up. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's smash this guy. I'm buzzing, ready to go.
This is the one where you...
This is the one-on-one kind
Yeah, I
of
think I
challenge.
saw
It was
that.
like what they said before it, which I was like, okay, cool. They're like, okay, no MMA moves. And they're like, no MMA moves to me. And I'm like, why are you looking at me? So when they said that, I was like, okay, cool. No MMA moves. I'm like, what if he tackles me? I want to sprawl. Anyway, I just watched him and I looked at him and I could see he's looking at my legs. I'm like, are you going to throw a tackle? Instantly, I'm like, he's going to throw a tackle. I'm like, I've got two moves here. I can either try palm him off, but my mindset, I was like, I didn't want to barge like that, because I felt like that was against the rule and what they explained. But then it was like, okay, he's going to throw a tackle. Cool. If I let him throw the tackle, I'll then wait. He exerts his energy, and then I'll out wrestle him. Exactly what happened. You watch the clip on YouTube. He throws a tackle. It was a solid tackle. It was bang. He throws. I wait. Out wrestle. Bang. Maneuvered. Won that challenge. But in that process, because the whole aim of the game is to tackle and take the other person off the platform and or take the flag from the opposite side. So while he's trying to take me into the water, I've got my fingers in there. I'm like, oh, there's no way. I'm not going out like this. I'm holding on, out wrestle. And you'll see it in one of the clips, even when we get the clippers to clip it, you'll see as I pull my fingers like that. So you'll see it in the clip, and I was like that. So it was this finger. And it was like here, I was like that. So it jerked a little bit. Didn't really feel it in the moment, but I just out wrestled him, bang, got the flag. And I looked down and my hand was like, it's kind of like that. I was like, I was just jarred. It's all good.
Yeah.
And he won the challenge. We got the fries. I was like, boom. And I looked down, but I was just getting fatter and fatter. And I'm like, I don't want to tell him, because if I tell him, medic, and then get it wrapped up, and then it gets checked. And I was like, oh, it's all good. And then I'm like, fuck, it's feeling sore. And then I showed one of the crew members, or like the cast members, and then the cameraman caught it.
Oh, no.
So you see it, I'm like, oh, check that out.
So you didn't even want to really
I didn't want to tell
show
him
it.
straight away.
Yeah.
And then the cameraman saw it, and then like you could see like in the background, the AEs are like, they're like, what's up with his hand? What's up with his hand? And then and I went over and I'm like, oh yeah, just have a look. All good. Put some tape on it. I'll do the challenge tomorrow morning. I'm doing the challenge tomorrow morning, and then we'll go get an X-ray. Like, yeah, all good. That night, I got pulled out and like, you're going to be going to get an X-ray? And I'm like, no, I want to do the fucking challenge. I said, let me do the challenge. It's all good. I want to do the challenge, and then we'll go get the X-ray. I said, I want to do one more challenge. I'm like, I'm going out with a bang. I don't give a fuck if it's broken. Let's go. And then they were like, no, you were getting an X-ray. Anyway, so like, I'm like, okay, that's all going to be all good. On the way, I'm blind because I'm blindfolded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're like on the way there because you don't want to see anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm blindfolded, get there.
To the challenge? Or
No,
to the
this is to the X-ray.
So you got, to the X-ray.
So they pulled me out of the camp and like, okay, now we're getting escorted. We're going to the hospital
Okay.
to the X-ray. So it's early in the morning. Didn't know, because the thing is you don't know any time while you're there. So you don't know the time, you don't know the date. So you're clueless. You're just like, the only thing to do is survive. Anyway, so we get to the hospital, and then with the doctor, we get it checked. By this time, it was like kind of wrapped up. It looked pretty fat. And it was like sitting like that. And then we get it checked. The doctor comes in. He sits next to me and he's like, puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, "You, my friend, have a broken finger." And then he's like, he had the nerve to go, "How you feeling right now?" And
Was it being recorded?
no, this wasn't recorded. So this was off camera. He's like, "How you feeling right now?" And I'm just like, I looked at him. I'm like, "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving." And I said it right. I had like a few tears in my eyes. I was like, "Fuck." I was like, "I'm not leaving." And then he's like, and then he hit me with this, and I was like, "You're a fucking dick, mate." It was like, he looked at me and it was like, "Yeah, but what happened at the end of the movie? They pulled him out." I'm like,
Oh, no.
I'm like, this guy. So like,
As if he said that.
yeah. It's like, you know, I was like crushed. I was like, fuck. This whole process to get here, and the outcome isn't what the outcome was to win. That's the whole intention of getting on, is to fucking win. And I was like, fuck, man, I was crushed. I was like, "They're gonna have to pull you from the game." And I'm like, no, we'll do one more challenge. Like, well, let's go. And then I met with the directors, and they were like where it's broken, it's not going to heal. It needs to be in a cast to actually heal straight. And we know, because you do training, you do fight training and gym training, if it heals incorrectly, you're going to be at risk in the future to injure a tendon, and it's going to be a worse injury. And in the mind, you're like, it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
But then, like, from a logical perspective, you're like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. So it's just one of those things that I was like, anyway, you know, I went back on, pretty much said bye to everyone, you know, got that really good goodbye, you know, hugged Jonathan. And I was like, fuck, it was a really, really good exit. But it was like, bro, I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was like, as much as like we steer away from like crying as men, but I was crying. I was fucking hurt. But I had set the plan up: when I finish Survivor, when I win, I come home and I go to sales. The plan was still the same. Come home, you know, but I took a couple of days. I was like, Jax was like,
Yeah, it was such a big build up.
Jax was like, bro, fuck. But came home, took like a couple of days, bro, just sitting on the couch, just eating fucking Smarties and, you know, eating chocolate bullets, like.
I can't even imagine you did.
Yeah, like, bro, just sitting on the couch, just eating, like, watching movies, like, just watching useless movies, just feeling sorry for myself for like 2 days. And then I was like, okay. And then I like the first step was like, okay, let's get back to training. You know, you get an injury, like, what's the first step? Okay, back to training, back to reading, back to mindset. Okay, now let's open Connor Healy's course and let's get to work.
So you didn't. So how many months did you go being in it without actually like starting?
We signed up like, I believe like in the 20s of May.
Yeah.
So we signed up there, and I think I like went through a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I stopped. I was like, there's no point in learning this right now. I'm just gonna have to relearn it when I come back.
Yeah.
So like maybe like 3-4 months.
Yeah, right.
Maybe
So then you got into
August.
it, and then what was all right? You're back. I
Right.
reckon you would have been dialed.
So yeah,
in.
it's like back in, and then it's like, okay, structure my day.
Yeah.
Cool, you know, sales work, gym session, all of those things, while I had the cast on as well. So I was pretty dialed. I was like, okay, cool, let's get it. And at the time I was like working with a few of the guys, other spaces, and because I had already networked with quite a few of the entrepreneurs on the Gold Coast, I was already in a little bit of a good position.
Was that from the music you networked with them, or how
A little
did you
bit,
do
yeah,
it?
because I already met a few of them, and because it was like the people that knew me, it was like, oh, Zen's actually pretty smart. He's not just one of those other rappers that they see, you know, rapping about drugs, rapping about all of that. It was like, oh, Zen's actually smart. You can have a proper conversation, because I was also on self-development as well, still am, to the point where it's a little bit different into who this person was. So, you know, I was networking with a few of the guys, and I was on one of the calls with Lockie Mitchell. Shout out Lockie Mitchell. It was like an Arcanum call. Quite a few other guys on there. I pretty much told the story about that. And then I heard in the back that when someone was explaining something, he said something about setting. And because I had been in Connor Healy's course, I'm like, setting. And then on the Zoom chat, you can send personal messages. And I sent a personal message to this guy, and I said, hey, bro, I heard you say setting. And then I was like, yeah, bro. Got him on Instagram, and then set up a networking call with him. So the whole idea is you network with other guys there.
Yes.
Set up a networking call, and then from there I went through his whole Instagram page, and I dedicated like an hour before the call to just go through all about him, learn everything about him. He had like an illness previously, so I learned everything about the illness, like what the fuck is this illness? Okay, what does it affect? How do you solve it? And just learn. And then I had like all these questions. I had certain things to ask him as well. Like that's what he's taught. I know you teach something similar, as well as Connor Healy teaches something in that as well. Had the call with him. You know, and I pretty much just told my story. I was like, went on Survivor, got pulled out, now I'm back, let's hustle. So people like that shit. They like the mindset, because like the thing is you can't teach hustle. You can't really teach mindset. That
Yeah.
only comes from someone that has drive.
Yeah.
And that radiates really high. So from there, he said something. He's like, "Bro, I think you're going to be a good fit." I'm like, "Fuck yeah." You know, fucking gassed. And at this stage, this was for like a pretty high up company in the
Yeah.
e-commerce consulting space.
As your first offer.
As the first offer.
That's sick.
And I had no experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
But purely just from being able to network effectively and be able to talk effectively.
And how you presented yourself,
Yeah,
right?
that was important as well. You know,
Yeah.
the intro video, it wasn't like me, dark room, in a hoodie, hey, I'll be a good fit. Hey, I'll be a good fit. It's like, no. It was
What'd you
like,
do for your intro?
It was like, hey, my name's Zen. You know, I'm a voracious reader. I love learning about influence, persuasion. And it was like, I just came off Survivor, you know, and I hid my cast in it as well, but I was like, I just came off Survivor, didn't get the outcome that I wanted, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, it's pretty much just like a mentality and mindset. The reason why you should choose me as a relentless work ethic, XYZ. Setting that in. And then it was like, did the contract to obviously get into the company, got into the company. I was like, fuck, this is cool. Because the founder himself has got the same kind of mindset, you know, same like hustle, push.
Yeah.
So I was like, I fit in perfectly. And then
Yeah.
as, so started as a setter. And then as I'm in, I'm like, these guys are getting deals closed every day. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I've got nothing closed. So I'm like hustling. You know, pumping the dials, getting sets through, you know, and then it was like started like I think on my first day, I think like the Thursday and Friday I'd started, I was on like really old leads. It's like useless leads, like 180 days old.
How many hours a day were you dialing?
On the first day, like maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, because I didn't even know what to do. I was like,
Yeah.
what's close?
Yeah.
What's Slack?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know what to do. And then the second day I was dialing maybe 4 hours. And then I kind of learned a little bit more like over the weekend, did a little bit of research, how to use Slack, how to use Close, how to actually sync things over. And obviously you got Zapier already automated. And then Monday I came in and I hit newer leads. I think Tristan as well, I think he even sent me through a few of his follow-ups. But as soon as I hit the newer leads, I think on the first like proper day of dialing, hit like 4 sets. I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
And that feeling, like they might, maybe none of them showed, but like it was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm setting, so I'm like doing my job. I feel good.
So you had no like sales experience, right? So
Nothing.
when you first started dialing, I mean, how was that?
Didn't even know what to say. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, hello, hey, this is Zen. How are you? And then you're like, people are like, you know, I want to talk to you right now. And you're like, and then you're selling and telling, and it's like, well, this is what we do. We can help you build a business. And it's like, wasn't asking the right questions, or
Yeah.
they'd say something. It's like, oh yeah, no, funds right now are a little bit tight. And it's like, yeah, cool. And I guess in terms of wanting to start an e-commerce business, like, why now though? Like questions like that, but I'd miss, oh, funds are tight.
Yeah,
Well, funds
yeah.
are tight. How do you mean? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like just missing just basic stuff. And then I was paired up with one of the guys in terms of like setting for him, and then he was giving me training. So I appreciate that very much. And I was like, fuck, I'm in. And Jax at that time, he had landed on like a fitness offer.
Yeah.
It was like pretty average fitness offer, like not a lot of money there was being made.
Yeah.
And I said, bro, you got to join this. I said, you got to join this, bro. Like, this is what the founder's saying. We're all hustling. We're all grinding. Like, if you get 3 months in a row, you get a Rolex. 12 months in a row as a top set, you get a car, 200K car. I'm like, let's go, bro. You know? And then he's like, fuck. Because he actually applied for that on like one of the first times he did an interview. But because he said he only wanted to work part-time, he didn't get it. And then I was like, bro, just come on. I'll get you in. And I pretty much said to the guy that got me on, who moved into setter managing, I said, do you want another person like me? Like, and I said, I've got a brother. He's like, what? Right, it was literally WhatsApp call, next day onboarded.
Sick.
So, and then we had Tristan in there as well, and then we had Tully join as well. So, you know, Tully, myself, Jax, and Tristan. Tristan was the top setter, and we
Yeah.
were all like hustling. We were just
Yeah.
hungry. So at that stage, you know, we're working maybe 8 hours, sometimes 10 hours, because we're just beating each other.
How many setters were there on the team total?
So at this stage, there was a US side as well. They
Yeah.
were like kind of like a different part of the business, but it was like just us four
right.
for a period of time. So this was like September,
Yeah.
kind of October, and then coming into November.
It's funny because the company, I heard of them when I was like 6 months into high ticket sales, like 5 years ago. And I, heard mixed things about it, but it wasn't like this massive company. And then, the last like year and a half,
it's
almost,
grown.
it seems like it's just been crushing.
just bigger and bigger.
So you
team.
guys were part of that like four.
I'd say
as
we-
it's kind of
we pretty much called ourselves the core four.
yeah.
So like, and it was so much fun. in terms of like setting can be really lonely. It is one of those things,
100%.
like you'll be banging your head against the wall. It's like, hello, it's lonely out there.
Yeah.
But when you've got other guys that are doing the same thing, crushing it on the dials, putting sets through, you're like, I'm not going to be the only guy without a set today.
Yeah.
And then Tristan, he was just casually just getting 7 sets. But like, this guy getting 7 sets.
Yeah.
So
And just to give context, so like what was the price points and then your commission as a setter?
yeah, so the price points, there was a few different options. There was like a 3,800, and at this stage it was 7,800, and then for a 6 month it was like 15k, and then 24.8k. So and it was
percentage?
5% comms.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were like, let's go, let's dial in.
So when Tristan, when you're saying 7 sets, because to some people that might be like, is that a lot? Is that not a lot? Like 7 sets, is a lot.
Yeah. So like KPI usually for most companies, I know that the KPI now for the setters is 200 dials with 4 sets.
Yeah.
Every day, Monday
Yeah.
to Friday. And then, if you work weekends, obviously you get perks like that.
Yeah.
But like mostly, like I would assume most organizations have around that 3 to 5 sets as a minimum as that KPI. So this guy's just cranking 7 sets. And at that stage, the KPI was 3 sets a day, 15
Yeah.
a week. So he's just 7 sets.
Because if you're getting 5 sets a day, 3 show up, at least 1 closes, like being conservative on an average 5 to 10k deal, you're looking $250, $500 a sale.
Yeah.
But if you get one of the high packages,
You get 1240.
even more. Yeah.
So,
right.
but at this stage, we're just watching sales accounts, and I was just like, Tristan. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then like we start networking with Tristan, we start meeting him, and then we obviously get closer as a guys, and then the team starts expanding, and they bring in other guys. But at this stage, all the inbound rotator. So because Jax and I, very effective with networking, we networked on the triage rotator. So we're like pretty high up on the triage rotator. So these are bookings.
The triage rotator is
Bookings directly into your calendar.
Yeah. Okay.
So rather than sitting on outbound, which don't get me wrong, outbound there's still opportunities there, but your people have watched a video or watched an ad, and then they've just left some details. Where an inbound, a triage, is someone that's gone, cool, book call. So they've booked a call to speak to someone. So these guys are naturally hotter. So like we were getting quite a few inbounds as well, and that just increases the amount of money being made.
And so like your first month in sales, no experience. Like
0.
what was the first month? What did you make?
The first month I did 40k revenue. 40k.
Okay.
I think.
So
40K
commission wise?
I think it was like 5%. Not a lot. I mean, maybe like 3 or 4k.
Okay. But I mean, first month. Okay. And then what was it like second, third, fourth? How did it sort of progress?
And then it was like, I just remember seeing the numbers. And then like the second month, it was like 60k revenue. And then like the third month was like 80k.
Okay.
And then it started to build. And then I think towards like coming into December, like December was a slow month, but like coming in back into like January, that's where we started to like hit those like really close to like 10k.
So it was sort of bubbling between 3 to 5k a month on average?
Yeah, 3 to 5k, and then
Okay.
just gradually went up, 3 to 5k, 5 to 7.
Yeah.
And then for a long period of time, from like January to about April, I was sitting between like 8 and like 9.5. So never 10k, but like 8 and 9.5. Like I remember it was, we hit 225 revenue in January. So I was
Yeah.
like, this is, and then I hit Connor. I'm like, bro, like we're so close. And he's like, do you want to do it? Like it's contracted at 10k. I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
I gotta
wait.
wait till it's CC. I
Nice.
gotta wait. But yeah, so we had like some really good months. But then the team obviously starts expanding.
Yeah.
Lead flow changes because now there's more guys on the team, more performers. But for a period of time, bro, I was getting like 12 triages a day.
Yeah. So it was like 3 to 5k a month. December was slow. Then January, it seems like it picked up a lot. You joined Closers Cult in December,
Yeah.
end of December-ish. So you were already working with Connor, right? So what made you want to get more mentorship, more training?
It was more, it's the same thing. Like Jack said to me, he goes, bro, like I found this new guy. It's like this. So a lot of stuff like Jax comes up with ideas, and then because he likes to do all these ideas, and then I like to sit there and rationalize like, hey, does this make sense? Is this going to be like a worthy investment, obviously? And then he's like, I found this guy. I found this other guy. So he said he found you at like 700 followers. So
Yeah.
I found this guy, Lando. I saw his account, but like no followers. I think he actually found you at like maybe 300 followers. Like such
he said before
such a
300.
small amount.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen you maybe like 600 to 700 followers. So I found this guy. He's got a sales course, a sales community as well. And then I kind of learned like a little bit more about you just through your Instagram. And I was just like, Like I've made my investment back from the RSA with Connor.
Yeah.
What's another investment? Like
Yeah.
and then like I saw Wes Watson, he made a video. I was like, when you invest into yourself, do you expect to make less money? And then now even years later, I still think, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
hell no. I don't go next month I'm gonna make less money. So from there I was like, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it was like same thing, get two brothers in at a discounted rate.
Yeah.
And then we joined that. And it was more like the sales training in there, but it was more closer to you. So we network with you, network with Anton. They're probably like the two most prominent connections from there.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, because Tristan was also in there from like the start, so that probably helped as well.
Yeah,
right?
because
Seeing him in
he
there.
mentioned something because I saw on his calendar
Yeah.
in the company he had like closers cult. And I'm like, what's closers cult? And I think at one stage you were doing like 97 a month or something. It was like a monthly.
Yeah, it was like a
subscri-
low ticket when I
a
started.
low ticket.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, cool. And Jack's like, oh, we'll join his low ticket. And then you changed it. And then I was in your DM funnel and you're like, you hit me with sales questions. I was like, fuck this guy. And then he dropped price on me. I was like, he's like, is that still on the table? And I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the director's like, bro, this is what the price is going to be. You cool? I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And we got in.
Yeah. And then when you came in, like from then January, you know, I can't take all the credit for that because like the company was doing better. You were consistent for 6-7 months before that. What was like the difference you feel like between those like January, February, March hitting like 8-9K compared to the months where you're on like 3 to 5? Like what changed?
I would say obviously the skill level because like naturally reps. Like you hear things. So now when like I hear someone go, oh yeah, cash is tight. You're like, ooh, cash is tight. How do you mean, sorry? So like you naturally hear more things. And it was more just time in the game. Because like no matter in what industry you start, you're always gonna pretend like from the start you're probably gonna suck shit. It's just proven. So understanding that and then just knowing that a long enough time horizon, you're just gradually gonna get better. And it was just like staying consistent with it and just not giving up, just continue showing up, continue learning and then growing. And then the outcome is where it is now.
And what month did you hit 10K?
It was only last month, May, and that was
Yeah.
when I was closing as well. So like all these months we were close. It was like bro, like I think one of the months was like 9.8 or 9.7, and I'm
What
like,
a tease.
bro, I'm sitting there, I'm sitting on my bed, I'm like, I'm like, come on, I'm like, damn.
But still, so that's less than a year of you actually doing it to hit 10K. Like, that's still pretty good. Like, I think our perception of money's fucked, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
of the people we talk to and we hang out with. But, like, you go to university, you go to college, it's 4 years, then maybe you make 8K a month. You make 100 grand a year. And you're doing a 9 to 5. There's no location flexibility,
Yeah.
calendar flexibility. Like, you got your block, your hour lunch break,
work.
and that's
Can't
it.
go to the toilet, you know, all the things you hear. Like there's some strict rules I hear when I speak to prospects now, and they're like, I got to ask to go to the toilet. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, that's wild.
What?
Yeah, yeah. To be able to do that, and 21?
21, yeah.
21.
So I turned 22 on Sunday.
Yeah.
So 30th
Oh,
of
shit.
June. So really
Nice.
close.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and then, you know, moving from April, and then Jax was in the company, and then he started closing. And like, we were supposed to close a bit earlier, but we got gate kept. It was like, no, you need to work more. And we're
Yeah.
like, fine, I want to close. So yeah, cool. And then Jax moved into closing. I did like the last month of setting, did like from February, March and April, like really, really strong months of setting. I think
Yeah.
like all of those months were contracted 10K revenue, like over 200K revenue.
Yeah.
But like the cash collection,
Cash
there was like maybe like 160 to like 190.
Yeah.
So like really, really close.
So for guys that don't know, like revenue is like the deal is 10K, but maybe they only pay 5K to start. That would
Yeah.
be the cash collected.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, we moved into May, started closing. And it was kind of like, because in terms of like the way that the training was, there's wasn't a lot of training in terms of like throughout the day in now the company. So I was kind of just like, fuck, like, okay. And then I'm watching all Connor's objections, all your objections. And I'm like, all right, I don't really know what to do, but let's just do it.
go
Like
time.
that was the mindset. I was like, I feel really unprepared.
Yeah.
And the only way to learn is by doing the thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I'm going outbound. I'm hustling. I found like my first chick that I jumped on with. Had the call. It was a pretty tight call. And then get to the end, obviously pitch. And then she hits me with this like, I was like, okay, cool. And like next steps, organising the investment. And then she was like, oh, we're paying now. And then she's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I just got to think about it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm in it. I'm in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not a problem. But obviously, it wasn't smooth. I was like, hey, that's not a problem. Like when we would say, think about it, like what's coming up for you. But it was like it was very diluted
Wasn't, like,
version.
drilled.
Wasn't smooth.
Yeah.
And then from there, like I pushed, and then it was just a weird call. But I was like, fuck yeah, okay. And then like it took a little bit of momentum to kind of get some traction.
Yeah.
And then towards that month, and then I think it maybe been like the 18th of May. It's like
Yeah.
18 days of just like hustling, no calls, having some calls, and then like cancels, and then think about it,
Yeah.
money objections, not enough
Yeah.
money. I didn't really know how to tackle them. I was just like, let's just get more reps.
Yeah.
So I want reps right now. Had my first guy, and he booked on my calendar, so it was a triage. And then he's like, yeah, man, I want to do the basic, so 3,800. I was like, cool. And he's like, I'm like, oh, cool, we can catch up tomorrow. We organise a call. He's like, do you have today? And I'm like, yes.
Of course.
Of course, bro. And I had
Yeah.
him, so he booked in same day, had the set call, booked him in later, like a couple of hours later, bro.
Yeah.
Closed him for 3,800, and I was like buzzing. I was
Sick.
like, holy shit. And it was like 12.5% comms, and I got like 425 for that. But because the founder, he was running like a today only, the deals that close from the sets from like yesterday and the deals that close are double comms. So it was like a double comm day. So I was like,
damn.
so it was like 425 like normal from the basic, and then it was like 950 for the double comp. So I was sitting there, I just pretty much made $1,000 in an hour.
Sick.
And I'm like, I feel like the man.
How'd that feel? Yeah.
It was a good feeling. It was like, it felt like, okay, like we're getting it.
Yeah.
Okay, that this feels good. And then, that Monday, had another couple jump on, and they want the mastermind, and then she didn't respond back to me. I'm like, fuck this mastermind, I want to cook it. Then she comes back, hey, we'd like to proceed. A little bit around price, and then it was like 50% down, like that next week.
Yeah.
And then had another deal close towards the end of the month.
That got you to 10.
Yeah.
Sick.
So it was like a 11.4
Sick.
total, and like a little bit of setting money had dropped through as well.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and that was last month, and then
At 21, traveling.
traveling, and then yeah, like we so I actually moved out. So coming back to March, I think it was March or like end of Feb.
Yeah.
With Nick, because we were thinking about moving for a while, and I was
Yeah.
like, I got to get out of my house, purely because the environment. Aside from Jax, like he's the only one hustling. He's the only one like really gets it. And now my mum, she's on that hustle as well. But my dad at this stage, he wasn't really on that mindset. And I was like, I've got to get out of this environment. I've got to get into an environment where the only thing to do is work and hustle. There's no TV on in the background. There's no bullshit on. It's like, and then I moved in with Nick. He's one of my close buddies now. And moving in with Nick, I look over. He wakes up at say 6 a.m. and he wakes up. He might do a bit of journaling, might do his Spanish, but he's just working. Like all day.
Yeah,
like
he's dialed in.
And everyone that knows Nick, that's lived with him, knows that he works the most.
Yeah.
And then it makes you like, okay, I'm not working enough. and then like even at night till like 8 p.m. he's like just working. I'm like, hey bro, you want a pizza? He's like, just dialed in.
Yeah.
So we moved into an apartment in the Gold Coast. Like February the
I remember that.
19th.
We
It
were
was
there,
a
yeah,
clean
yeah.
apartment.
That's sick.
And then, I just kind of like, I was supposed to stay till about March. And then I
Yeah.
was like, I had some other things happen. Then I was just like to Neil, like, I'm just go to Bali.
Yeah.
Fuck wait until March, let's go to Bali.
Yeah.
And then we went over there, I think the 20th of April. And then we moved into a villa there for about 2 months, locked in. That's when I was obviously closing,
Yeah.
getting those reps in. And then, Jax moved to Koh Samui himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he like his first week, he was there, and then he got like staph. He had like staph infection from fight.
Oh.
So at the fight gyms, you got to be really careful where you go,
All right.
because of like the etiquette in terms of like, because when the
Hygiene
sweat
and
comes
that.
out, they don't actually clean the mats.
Mm.
So he had staph, and then he got infection from staph from using the medication. So he called me, and he was like I could see he was like fucking pissed. I didn't want to challenge him. I'm like, then he was like, I might come to Bali because of fight promotion, and then moving now, we moved into a new villa, Nick and then Jax.
Sick.
So we're just locked in a villa.
Brings us to today.
And brings
From
us now.
Survivor to high ticket sales.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I asked you this privately because like I like to be straight up. Like you were already working with Connor, right? Mm-hmm. He was like your first main mentor for ages, and then you jumped into Closers Cold, and then and then the company naturally progressed a bit, and you did well. Like, I can't take most of the credit for that. Like, how big of a factor was Closers Cold? Like, what value did you get from it, having already gone through another mentorship?
I'd say the biggest thing that I got was more of the network.
Mm.
So, everyone invests into different things to get different outcomes. My main intention for investing into Closers Call was more to get closer to you and your network.
Mm.
So that was the main intention, and I can see that's succeeded. We've built a great relationship with Anton, and from Anton have now got in contact with an international accountant. So it's like, depending what you're looking for in terms of the outcome of an investment, you only really need one thing of an ROI to be the investment worth it.
Yeah.
So from that, investment into you, and then now I've invested into the accountant, which I'm going to save tax on, paying 0%. So I've got my money back, but through a different way.
Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily just from sales.
Yeah.
It was through the connection.
That's cool.
So-
Yeah, because I always think like, I've been thinking when you're in the training, I'm like, oh, is Zen getting value? Like, I haven't seen him on many calls. Like, is he getting value from it?
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear like, okay, like it was the network for you. Or, for Jax, it might be a bit more training. And for someone else, it's like, oh, just how to get an offer, right? They're at a different stage. So, okay, that's cool to hear.
That was the biggest thing. And then now going through the objections, because at that stage, some of the setting stuff, like what wasn't relevant in terms of process-wise. But now, like, the objections pretty much across the board are relevant for any offer that you're selling.
Yeah.
Now I draw the objections and going through them. So now that's really, like, the training's really relevant to go through now.
Yeah.
And then even the calls. I know you mentioned you got 2 different calls as well, guys that are starting out now, and then more advanced guys as well. So that's, like, now relevant to, because now I'm closing, I'm like, okay, I can use that and I can actually implement it.
I want to like see your calls. And,
All right.
like,
I'll
pull
send
it
you through a
apart.
few. Let's do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I just joined on the calendar, but before I came, I went through it.
Sick.
I was getting a haircut. I joined on the Google Calendar subscribe, so we got one tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Perfect. Yeah. Sweet. Cool, bro. Yeah, from Survivor to 10K in high ticket sales and keep going up. And I'm sure what's in the next 6 months? We're almost halfway through.
So the next moves for me, in terms of naturally going to be scaling the skill. Because also, don't get me wrong, is generating income from sales is important, but it's also what you do with that income and what it allows you to do. So for me to be able to allocate resources now into my future, into assets, Jax and I, we've now invested into starting up an e-commerce brand in the industry of skincare. So most people would know, if you read male skincare, it's full of a lot of ingredients. So we want to get past that. We want organic, we want natural, we want sub 10 ingredients and less. So, our mum, she's got the mentality, she's kind of got the hustle. So, back in November, she's like, okay, I want to start something in the e-commerce space. We're naturally selling an e-commerce business, so we got her in. We pretty much like invested, predominantly just capital and then our skill set to actually help build a brand. And now we're getting to the point we're getting ready to launch. So the whole intention of that business was to allocate our capital and our resources with our skill set and mindset to get her out of the 9 to 5.
Sick.
So now she can build a business. So she's actually going to be landing tonight in Bali. So we'll do a shoot on the weekend. We've got a few models lined up as well. So that was the intention with the skincare brand, to
That's
actually
awesome.
work with family. Me and Jax already know that we work really well with each other.
Yeah.
And so we can actually get her out of the 9 to 5.
And that's a prime example of using sales, using the income, the skill you got, you've learned about business, being in a successful business that's running well, seeing how they operate, seeing the founder, and then taking it to another venture. Because there's a lot of people that are in sales and they want to get good, they want to get to a certain point. Eventually, the long-term goal is to do something else and use the skills, use the money.
Well, it's leverage.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the thing is, most people, and that's what I'm noticing now on sales calls, I'm like, I only make money when I'm on call. You know what I mean? Like, different in setting, you set the appointment, it might get closed a little bit later. But in terms of me actively making money, I need to be on call and I need to use my skill. So I can't really put it, hey, VA, take my sales call.
Yeah.
What's this guy jumping on my sales call? So that was the thing that I've noticed. I'm like, I need leverage. And the only way to have leverage is through a business or equity. So that was where the e-commerce business came in. And then Nick and I are also building the Power Labs as well, that you probably would have seen, which is pretty much a lot of the guys that we talk to, you would know as well, business owners, entrepreneurs, all want to get energy. We all want more energy. We all want to be wired so we can work for longer. And that's where, nicotine is such a powerful substitute for that. The only thing is, over a long enough period of time, from the research, nicotine is not going to be our healthy alternative. And plus, these guys are pumping 8-9 zins a day. So we're like, okay, That's a problem, but it's not necessarily highlighted as a problem until we put the marketing component there. So we've now created a nootropic brand. So it's called Power Labs. So it's
Yeah.
like a power pouch. Lion's mane, cordyceps, alpha GPC, among some other ingredients. So
That's sick.
And that's the units are done, paid the last part of the invoice to the supplier, and that's been a process as well.
Yeah.
And we're looking
keen to
get,
try 'em.
Yeah, we're getting the
Really
units here. You bought first when we run ads.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
You bought back in March as well.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I texted him like, hey bro, we don't have any units. I'm gonna give you your money back. You're like, oh, it's all good, bro. Just give them to me when we're in Bali next. And I'm like, they're not gonna be here.
yeah.
So yeah, we got that as well. So
No,
yeah.
that's cool because it's also like it depends where you're at, right? Like you're at the point now where you've got the skill, you've made enough money to be able to do that, and it's like different advice to different people for where you're at, right? Like if you don't have any skills, you're not making that much money, you're in a 9 to 5, you're like first piece of online thing, like you tried e-commerce before any of that and with a mentor and it didn't work, right? And then now you're going at it again, but you've had like a year of like being in the online space, seeing how businesses operate, having the skill, now more cash flow as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely different when you look back at like investments that were made, and I usually just call them as plays because they're really just plays on your chessboard. Because the whole outcome, and Naval Ravikant says it the best, is the definition of intelligence is the person who got what they want. Which I sat back and I'm like, interesting. So the person who actually gets what they want out of life should be deemed as intelligent. They've got what they wanted. So I just look at everything and it's just a play on the chessboard. Like, is this going to be a long-term play? We're building the personal brand is a long-term play. Yeah, we'll see some outcome of it, over the next 6 to 12 months. But that's a long-term play for like a 5-10 year play as well. So just making sure every play that we're making generates an ROI in some sort. Investing into you. Met Anton, then Anton connect me to Leo, the accountant, and then it's like, every time you make an investment, make sure there's an ROI, whether it's a financial ROI, whether it's a networking and relationship ROI, or it's an ROI that's going to get you closer in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Cool, bro. It's been awesome chatting about your story. It's
Thanks,
so interesting, like the whole Survivor thing, the music, all coming
I know when I
together.
told you first, you're like, you want a Survivor? And even when people like, they see my profile, bro, you want on TV? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like to me, now it's just like, it's just another step.
Yeah.
And like then I'll go on another TV show.
Yeah.
I'll go into acting, then all the next steps. But the main focus now is just focus on business, sales, and
100%.
e-com.
That's sick, bro. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Done.
Fucking good chatting.
Appreciate you, bro.